our inspirational democratic socialism leader, right, who inspired us. And then we get, right, into the heat of things. But let us hear from none other than Michael Manley himself, right? Play the clip.
Our party must be first in study. You must study. If you're a socialist, you must study. You must study. That's why we start all the great programs, literacy, so that we can bring knowledge. True knowledge is power. You must read. Them have a book called Manley and the New Jamaica. Who should find a way to read it. My own little book I write for you is you I write it for. Politics of Change is you I write it for. To give you wisdom and understanding. Read it. Make group bite and somebody read it and want to discuss it, because you must be first in study. Knowledge is power. My last word is for the role of leadership. First of all, the leadership of socialism must walk in humility. Humility. Must be humble. Must be humble. Must always be humble. There is no place for arrogance in the party that I lead. And anybody that is arrogant over the people must get out of leadership. The only one that is fit to lead is the one that walks hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, equal with the people, loving with the people. That's why I don't want nobody in a flashy motor car. I don't want nobody in my party go with flashy clothes. I dress simple. And I drive in a simple little car. And Bev driving a simple little car. Because we must walk with the people. The day we think we're bigger than the people, we have no business to lead. Socialism walks in humility with the people. If you're a socialist, you must have love and concern. And if you're a leader, you must stay close to the people. I said to the leaders of socialism, stay close to the people. When the people are worried and unhappy, don't run away from them. Stay close like a shepherd. Give them love. Give them care. That is socialism. The leader in socialism must know so that he can explain. He must understand so that he can lead. He must inspire by example. And above all, he must have integrity. 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 Only honesty can lead the people in socialism. Therefore, my comrades, let us build together. And I call upon you now, in the name of the Father, in the name of God, in the name of Allah, in the name of Jehovah, in the name of Jah.
Yes. Now, people, as I asked the panel before, right, to let us tighten our seatbelt, and I brought that clip to reflect us of what good governance is. When we heard the message of Michael Manley, right, we just reminiscing of what is needed today as it relates to good governance. Michael Manley said 3 significant things tonight that we must pay attention to. He said the Prime Minister should have love and concern, because you know where I'm going, you know, why I am setting the background. And where Michael Manley is saying that one of the attributes of a Prime Minister must have love and concern for his people. 2, must lead by example. And 3, only honesty, integrity, must be transparent and balance. Now, my Jamaican people, we face today a prime minister who represents the complete opposite of what Michael Manley had spoken about. Complete. And let I say without any hesitation that you have seen a prime minister who orchestrated, premeditated, a calculated, wicked, and corrupt fancy scheme and leech it on the people of Jamaica. Let me say it with confidence that the Prime Minister, along with his minion, know definitely that they would execute this poisonous trade. He used reverse psychology in saying that people must not vote for the People's National Party because when they win, the People's National Party will throw poison on you. A reverse psychology in terms of what he knows very well he was going to do. The Prime Minister inspired his men not to sign the code of conduct. The Prime Minister, after the People's National Party identified a Ponzi scheme, and the People's National Party made an effort to stop them, the Prime Minister administration had given them SSL, granted SSL a license to loot many of our Jamaicans. One of the saddest moments in all of this, apart from Bolt, who the Prime Minister has no respect, no regards for. A lady, an old lady, 28 years of age, who had saved her last, made her last contribution as it relates to her strength. The Prime Minister, who encouraged Jamaicans to invest. The Prime Minister who stepped forward in ensuring that our NHT, our tax, our tax, our NIS put in SSL and cognizant that SSL is a Ponzi scheme. Look what I'm saying, Jamaica. The Prime Minister awareness that this is a Ponzi scheme. The Prime Minister awareness, knowing that the People's National Party had put the lid on SSL. But the Prime Minister, hell-bent in enrich himself and the back of Jamaican people, unleash a monster so cruel, so cold, so calculous, so calculated, loot many of our Jamaican brothers.
The release from the People's National Party Media Unit.
This is Julian Robinson, spokesman on finance for the People's National Party. I'm here to set the record straight on the SSL scandal and to address the false claims made by JLP Senator Apka Fitz-Henley. The truth is, in 2013, under the PNP administration, we took decisive action to protect Jamaican investors. The FSC issued a directive requiring SSL to suspend critical activities due to breaches of the Securities Act. But in 2017, under the JLP administration, those restrictions were lifted. The FSC discontinued proceedings to suspend SSL's license based on the company's claims of compliance. And what happened next? In 2023, the massive fraud was uncovered, which has devastated hundreds of Jamaicans, thousands actually. So Senator Fitzhenley's claim that the PNP took no action is a blatant lie. The facts are clear. The PNP actually acted to protect investors, while the JLP's decision to lift restrictions left Jamaicans vulnerable. Today, I'm repeating my call for transparency and accountability in the SSL issue. Has the Kroll report, a forensic audit of SSL from 2010 to 2023, been released, even to the court-appointed liquidator? And if so, why not? This report is critical to understanding the full scope of the fraud and the failures in oversight that allowed it to happen. The public has a right to know the truth. The administration must stop hiding behind excuses and release the report without further delay. Jamaica deserves better.
Visit our website at PNP.
Takes away. Indeed. Jamaica deserves much better. And we are asking the Jamaica Labour Party for transparency, to keep people in the light, right? Release the Kroll report. Now I'm going to back up, right, Julian Robinson, facts as it relates to what he said. Empirical data to support what Julian Robinson said. So we see Abka Fitzhenley, right, running out, telling lie and try to shape a narrative. Remember that Andrew Holness, in the same 2018, went to Big Mama Station and spoke to Abka Fitzhenley, telling lies. And we had a shaped narrative. Abka Fitzhenley and Andrew Holness shaped a narrative that he came into the politics with $47 million. We all played it on the program and know that it was a lie. So I want to show people as it relates to how long Abka Fitzhenley, right, spinning and coining the Jamaica Labour Party narrative. But what Abka Fitzhenley did not know, the strength of social media. He did not know the strength of a melting pot, a strength of a Rattigan, strength of a Pastor Ricky, strength of a Jamaica, where we use social media as a search engine to bring facts and data to present the truth. And this is what is killing the Jamaica Labour Party as it relates to them rise again in the poll and tell another lie to our Jamaican people. It will not happen. So let me substantiate the facts as it relates to what Julian Robinson just spoke about. Without any delay, let us show the people the facts. FSC took action, SSL. So then, we are showing you, right? Now, people, here it is, right? And this report on February 1, right, 2023, this thing. Okay. Former Minister of Finance, Dr. Peter Phillips, says the Financial Service Commission, FSC, took action against investment firm Stocks and Security Limited, SSL, which is now at the center of a $3 billion fraud affecting dozens of its clients. Ladies and gentlemen, right, we are talking about 2013. Both money was a part of this $3 billion. Phillips, who served in the portfolio under the Portia Simpson Miller led government between 2012 and 2016, disclosed on Tuesday that he was made aware of the now decade-old problems within the brokerage house However, he said as evidenced by a slew of directives issued in a 2013 letter to the then CEO and President Mark Croskery, the board acted. He said that it was customary for him to meet with all chairmen of the various agencies for which he had responsibility. Open quote. I would have been made aware of the actions that the FSC intended to take and would, in the normal course of things, have had no intentions to change their course of action, he told the Gleaner. That was captured in a letter of 2013 after Fitzhenley come over here. He had it, noting that as far as he's aware, actions were taken against SSL. Come over here after Fitzhenley. Come for the evidence. Phillips had said a week ago that he did not immediately recall whether he had been fully briefed on SSL parlous financial state. In the October 2013 letter, SSL was told to refrain. Come over here, Fitzhenley. Fitzhenley, come over here. You don't know about this letter? Eh? In October 2013 letter, SSL was told to refrain from accepting new security businesses, dealing in securities, granting credit to other parties or related persons, and soliciting business from the member of public. So this is what I want to burn Andrew Holness with. Now, Andrew Holness, you would have known you're the Prime Minister. The Minister of Finance, right? Audrey Shaw and Nigel Clark. Both of you would have known. Both of you would have known the situation with SSL. That SSL, look at the following. Why they were stopped, right? SSL was told to refrain from accepting new securities business. 1. 2. Dealing in securities. 3. Granting credit to other parties or related persons. 4. And soliciting business from members of the public. It was also ordered to provide all information, document records, access other assistance and cooperation to any special auditor appointed by the FSC. Andrew Holness-led government close this down. Take it away. Let me talk to the people and let me talk to the country. But what the Andrew Holness-led administration had done in the protection of SSL was also to double down on a vicious lie. A vicious lie that show an example of looking left. And who looked left? Nigel Clark. Audrey Shaw, who had dealt with the situation, knew about the situation. Andrew Holness knew about the situation. That the misappropriation of funds had taken place in 2012 as it relates to board money. And I tell you how effective the People's National Party was, because remember, in 2012, the People's National Party was fighting an economic crisis as it relates to IMF pulling away from Jamaica, because the failure of Jamaica Labour Party proves goal in government. And even though the People's National Party was under such pressure in fixing the economy, concentrating as it relates to passing a consecutive test, the People's National Party still have time to identify, flag it, observe it, and stop it. Because SSL was planned under the Bruce Golding to execute. And the only wish that Andrew Holness wanted was the wish to get in power. But little did the Jamaican electorate know that he fooled the Jamaican electorate, being in the bosom of the Jamaican electorate, said himself as poor, that he grew up in one-bedroom house. But if the Jamaican people were listening keenly, the Jamaican people would have realized that this man is a diabolical liar, because on the next campaign trail, he said he grew up into a two-bedroom house. The Jamaican people weren't listening. And for those who still not listening, I am warning you. I am warning you. I am warning you. For those who are on the borderline, listen to what Mystic Sensation is saying. So the Prime Minister knew. The Prime Minister was among. So when we said that the Prime Minister doesn't have any ordinary profile account in SSL, believe it. He doesn't. How do we prove that? A total of 143,000 US dollars, right, sent from NCB to the Prime Minister account that he took out an account 10 years prior with $0. Came from SSL to NCB. And NCB, let me warn you, because we have seen a pattern exist with NCB, hosting, facilitating Ponzi scheme accounts. So we have you on the surveillance. And so then we see the systemic design of criminality where SSL is concerned. The Prime Minister is at the helm. Can the Prime Minister justify how he built his house? The Prime Minister tried to justify how he built his house. The Prime Minister told the Jamaican public a lie. That he himself had laid stone, cut stone, perfectly cute to shape, a stone cutter. We have a Prime Minister who's a stone cutter. An excellent stone cutter. To look on the curves and the turn and the shape and the polishing of those stones. Most of it done by Andrew Holness. Can you believe it, people? Can you believe it?
Him say him lose weight. A cut stone.
Can you believe it? So then, let us, I know that before the panel come in, I want to set the background, because you know how it is. To show you the systemic corruption, the finance minister, look people on what the finance minister had denied. Remember, in 2012, FSC flagged them under the Portia Simpson administration. But in 2017, when Andrew Wallace, in 2016, when Andrew Wallace took over, 2017, they get the next flag again. And guess what? Nigel Clark denied. Now, without any further ado, let us show that evidence. FC report on SSL. Let us look at Nigel Clark in coercion with the criminality. Let us look at the culpability of Nigel Clark. FC report on SSL was never brought to my attention. Now, this is the Minister of Finance. A crucial report like this. A crucial report like this. Right? This is January 29, 2023. Let us get into the meat of the matter, my people. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark has now acknowledged that his office received a report from the Financial Service Commission, right, on the fraud in Stocks and Security Limited in April 2020. But he said it was never brought to his attention. Can you imagine, my people? Can you imagine? The report covered an examination of the private investment firm in June 2019, 2 years after the FSC threatened to suspend SSL license after being the company a problem institution that operated what? A culture of non-clients and mismanagement of client funds. Take that away. Let us go to the panel. Now, Rattigan, I'm coming to you, Rattigan. Kick it as it may be, in terms of what you have seen here, that SSL had practiced a culture of misappropriating clients' money and non-compliance, where the People's National Party identified their wrongdoing from 2012 and put a break on them. However, the Jamaica Labour Party the Jamaica Labour Party and allow them to create mayhem and investors. Take it away, Brother Artigan.
Well, there's not much I can add, because I think you have covered it comprehensively. And as I've said to you before, I think you're one of the experts on the SSL saga. I think Kroll should have hired you, and Nigel should have paid you. Dr. Clark, rather, should have paid you. Yeah, because you know more about this than all of the investigators in Jamaica. So there's not more to add. It's just one big cover up, and what we need now is to see the Kroll report. I'm trying to get the report out of the UK because it looked like we're not going to get it out of Jamaica. Because the UK actually subsidized that report. So I'm trying to get some UK citizens to make some noise and see if we can get it. So once we get it, we'll release it. In the meantime, I'll just yield to another member of the panel because, like I said, you covered. There's not much more I can say. All
right. Thank you for that, Ratty. Jamaics, please take it away.
Hey, thank you very much. I want to just say, Jack of all trade, master of none, is more useful than a master of one. So we understand the full length of the Jack of all trade. So we don't disrespect no man if they have a little bit of skill here and there. But when you have critical situation, you need experts. And we have to emphasize on that. So that reverse psychology where the Prime Minister wants to use about ghetto youth and all of these things. Miss me with that. That is not, that don't hold up to the Jamaican people. You are disrespecting the intelligence of the Jamaican people. We are judging you based on your output rather than the words that you're saying. Because in the communication wheel, it is 7% verbal, 38% vocal, and 55% non-verbal. So we'll watch your action. And I just have questions. In 2022, why did our Prime Minister not sign the Ethics Code of Conduct? And all of the People's National Party's representatives signed it, right? So that goes to show you the type of people that we're dealing with. We have two people in Jamaica say that they want to be the leader of the country. One that commits to honesty, integrity, transparency, proper leadership, objectivity. The 7 Nolan principles of good governance. We know it. And the Prime Minister failed at everyone. And he chose not to sign it. And people of Jamaica in the diaspora who are not Jamaicans, who are listening, when I look at it, people, let me know if I'm making an unfair comparison. Because the Ethics Code of Conduct, I would, put it to a situation like you're hiring a nanny and the nanny cannot consent that they would treat your child properly. They won't rape your child. They won't disrespect your child, right? And if your nanny cannot consent to that, would you keep that nanny or would you employ that nanny rather? So the Prime Minister don't sign the Ethics Code of Conduct. And when we look, corruption is raping our country. That is just the plain truth about it. And you look at it, the Prime Minister said on February 6th that the economy is fiscal fit, because he used a play on word, right? Then the Finance Minister, Favour Williams, said in February, Honorable Favour, I don't like call them honorable because they're not, they're liars. So in February 12th, she came and said that the country is moving to a technical recession. Who is lying? Then it goes further. On February 25, the Prime Minister commit to the US and to the rest of the world that the trade policy that US had put down is creating jitters around the region. I thought that we were fiscal fit, or maybe we're heading for a technical recession. Why all of this ambiguity? All of this confusion? The battle of the mind is real then, Mr. Prime Minister. Who are you lying to? Are you lying to the local people? Are you lying to the international community? Who you're telling the lies? That is what we want to know. And for a lot of JLP members and mouthpiece talking about Bolt is irresponsible and make poor financial decision, I would like to ask you a few questions. The FSC, which is the Financial Service Commission, is it a Jamaican? I'm getting a bit of feedback. I'm asking, is it a government agency? Right? And if it is a government agency, what is the role of FSC? Is it to be an oversight body to protect the Jamaican investor and to protect the integrity of the financial sector, to allow MSMEs, so local investors, and also international investors to say, hey, Jamaica is a safe place. Come and put in your money. If that is the role of FSC, to ensure that they're the safeguard, the security of the financial sector, and they report to the finance ministry, does that not reflect poorly on the government? Is that not an indictment on the government of Jamaica? So I'm asking the Jamaica labor rights supporters, sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. There is a need for you to read, and to not just read, but to comprehend. And when you read, also ask experts, professionals like Mr. Rattigan, yeah, Mr. Byron, Pastor Ricky, you're a professional because you use data. Melting Pot, you're a professional, you use data. And we can recite from these news articles because it's right there. It is right there. And it is sad to see where Jamaica is. And I will end on one question to Mr. Nigel Clark, the Mr. Patriot. I mean, no, not a patriot, but a shame to the Jamaican people. You said in January 2023 that the FBI is here to do investigation. Is that so? Can you confirm with that if you were lying, or you just assess something to the Jamaican people? And we want the Kroll report, because if it is taxpayers' money that pay for the Kroll report, we have all right to demand that and let the Jamaican people have transparency. Thank you.
Wonderful, 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 wonderfully stated right there. And you know, going to turn up the energy, right? So melting pot, jump in, my brother. Tight on blood.
Yeah, well, you know, so far, so good in regards to what Mr. Rattigan said and what Jamaica said. Well, eloquently presented. The facts are all there. But I just want to say, in my little chronological way of thinking, is that every crime scene has a story, and that story will always lead you to the actual crime. Now, when you look at SSL, you know, it's a crime scene, but there's a story within the crime scene as it relates to the People's National Party under Dr. Peter Phillips flagging SSL in 2012 as carrying out malpractices within the institute, not dealing with customers' investment in the appropriate manner. But then we saw where they were still being granted the license by the FSC to conduct business as usual. We also saw where, you know, Mr. Usain Bolt put a vast amount of investment into their Ponzi scheme. We know what went wrong with that. we saw how determined the then leader of the opposition was to win an election using PR, to get himself elevated to the prime minister status so that he could, you know, ratify all the corruption in Jamaica. And so then, in 2017, they were allowed to continue after they were, you know, it was the consensus of the People's National Party that this SSL Ponzi scheme should, you know, defunk and desist from carrying out business in Jamaica. But Andrew Wally see fit to lift the embargo and give them the free rein to run up and down and continue the malpractice of corruption. We also saw during the period of time when SSL, you know, crashed with the scandal staying all over the name SSL. During that same period of time, and affiliated, you know, members of the whole corruption, NCB, was also robbing its customers a vast amount of million. One man in particular, it was what, 84 million he saved for his burial, final day on earth. That went south. There was another lady, her money went missing, and various customers was having problem. So we are connecting the jigsaw puzzle within the financial sector at the same period of time. And we are looking at, you know, people that were affiliated with each other as it relates to Paul Chen Young, Hugh Croskery, Michael Leachin, Andrew Holness, you know. Yeah, we see these people, Nigel Clark, Adler Shah. We saw what they were doing. So the crime scene that presents itself in SSL, it has a lead story, and the story will lead you to the players. As simple as that. Now, in regards to Nigel Clark coming out and saying that the FBI were intensifying their involvement in the investigation. Now, when you intensify your involvement in an investigation, it simply means that you are called to do the investigation and you're preparing your personnel to send them into Jamaica from the United States. That's how I perceive intensifying involvement in an investigation to be. But that never happened. Simply because if the FBI had come in to do that investigation, the priority of the matter would be US dollars. And they are very protective of the US asset as it relates to their dollar. That belongs to the United States government. So we were lied, you know, by the then finance minister, Nigel Clark. We were told a lie. But what we saw, they went and they, you know, sought the assistance of Kroll. Now, they came in and they done what they're supposed to do. And they have left a report containing all the information that the general public in Jamaica were waiting to hear. Now we are seeing where the DPP is in possession of that information, and it's quite a while now, and we are not privy as Jamaican to what's in the what's the report finding in that information that she have there in front of her. So we are looking at it from various angles, and every angle show you cover up. Now we see recent development as it relates to that same SSL building was sold from 2013. But we were unaware of that. That wasn't gazetted in the Sunday classified ads. You know, that was a private sale agreement. Now the person who they are saying, you know, acquire that building, in Jamaican terms, nobody ever heard about Christopher Boomar. That's a name nobody know of. To have that type of fund to buy SSL. Because that SSL building, you know, is a whole heap of money at 300 million Jamaican dollar that's supposed to go for like that value in that region. But then when we look now, we see Vaz now, for him, son, you know, married to this man, daughter, but they said Christopher Boomar, him now turn over this thing, a $300 million purchase thing to his daughter as a gift. I know daddy like them daughter very much more so than them son, but I mean, why would you purchase a building for 300 million? But you don't have nothing intended to do with it more than give it away as a gift. That don't resonate with me.
All right.
You must have some business, you know, in mind when you were purchasing that building. Because that is a building that is known to a lot of people. So why would you buy this building and then give it away as a gift? In the same time, when this building was under investigation, that building was a crime scene. That building shouldn't even been, you know, given access to people when it was flagged and when the corruption to be in and out. We are now, we see we have 5 laptops gone missing. That wasn't a crime scene that was protected by the government. So Nigel Clark, the Prime Minister, Crutches Bully, all these people involved in this corruption, you know, we are seeing the story because, as I said, every crime scene has a story, and that story will lead you back to the actual crime. And we are seeing everything in front of us. Because, I mean, you know, when you look at Hugh Craskery, yeah, we were told by his Arikwashi lawyer, you know, that it didn't have nothing to do with SSL from way back when. But we saw where him put a personal signature to the 78-year-old woman.
We're going to extend on that, so don't touch too far, right? Because we are getting there. Because we have that letter, so don't touch too far out.
All right, because just abruptly finish it at just him signing and, you know, having responsibility as a signature will, you know, stipulate that him know about this money from that woman. But carrying on further down the line, yeah, we as Jamaics eloquently said, as Jamaicans, you know, who foot the bill as it relates to the Kroll investigator scheme in Jamaica, we need to know what is in the report. It's time we get some, you know, closure now as to who are these people that we know should be exposed, because these people are still playing some very important role in Jamaican society, and we can't have criminal working in the society. So we need to get them name out. And I yield back to another member of the panel.
All right. Okay. Good delivery there, right? As Melton Pot pointing out, right, the deliberate actions of the Jamaica Labour Party in terms of, you know, covering up with SSL and protect the corruptors of the loot, right, as it relates to giving even access to Hugh Craskery, right, to leave the island. It's crazy. It's crazy. So without any delay, let me just bring Pastor Ricky into space. Pastor Ricky, go ahead.
Yeah, the devil don't want me to speak, but he's defeated.
No, can't stop it tonight.
He's defeated. But let me just say this, guys. Sir Byron, you don't know you're the professor in this SSL thing, and we sit at your feet and we have learned so much. So, first of all, I respect the office of the Prime Minister. I've always have, but I do not respect the current holder of the office of the Prime Minister. Based upon all the evidence and the facts and the research, and what has been revealed is that this criminal Prime Minister is a criminal that should be indicted. And it's a shame that he was part of a Ponzi scheme that robbed an old lady of $60 million. Now, when we think of, I mean, so much has been said already. I don't want to repeat it, but let's take it back from 2017. Well, first of all, we knew he had 3 payouts from SSL. In 2011, based upon what his former lawyer says, when he needed money to purchase the land for his Beverly Hills $300 million US mansion, them said people bad mind him about, which is not going to be a good defense strategy in a court of law at his criminal trial. So he had his first payout that we know in 2011. Then he had another payout from SSL in 2012, which we have documents of. Then the IC report revealed that he had another payout of $143,000 US in 2021. Now, after SSL was flagged by the Portia Simpson Miller Prime Minister administration, when he ran for Prime Minister not to serve the people, let's get that straight. Because his criminality went far back from long before 2012 or 2013 when Mama P them flagged SSL. And we all know
way back to 2006.
Right, way back to 2006. Right. So in 2012, and when Mama P them flagged SSL for their financial irregularities, they were not trading like they led people to believe on the stock market. It was a lie to deceive, to lure people, to attract them to invest into something that was not real. SSL was set up to fund elections in 2016 and in 2020. SSL was flagged by the Portia Simpson Miller administration because they found out under the leadership of Dr. Peter Phillips, the fraudulent criminal behavior that this criminal prime minister was a part of. He ran for prime minister to continue the criminality, not to serve the Jamaica people, but to serve himself and his cronies. When he became prime minister in 2016, that was God gift to him. Or I shouldn't say God gift to him. That was the devil's gift to him because God don't rob nobody. That was Satan's gift to the prime minister to continue his criminality. So what did he do in 2017? He allowed SSL to continue based upon what Mama P administration under the leadership of Dr. Peter Phillips at Highlight recommended that they should not continue to do any investments and so forth. Then also in 2018, you know, I thank God for programs like these because we deal with facts and truth. And as you can follow the timeline, in 2018, he allowed under his watch as prime minister, SSL to be placed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, which is a violation going back to the flag that Mama P administration flagged them in 2012 or 2013. So he allowed SSL to be placed on the Jamaica stock market, knowing fully well that they were not trading stocks. They were ripping the potential investors off. After they were placed on the stock market in 2018, here comes grandma, a 78-year-old lady, and the prime minister should be ashamed of himself. How could you sleep at night? You don't have any, If you don't pay back anybody their money, pay back grandma or $60 million. Seriously, no joke. This lady took her inheritance that she received from her son and was enticed and lured into a criminal Ponzi scheme that defrauded not just only her, but 199 other investors. So here come grandma in 2019, after SSL was placed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange to a reverse takeover to C2W Music.
Yeah.
And once they were placed on the stock market, that legitimized them to continue to defraud people out of there because they led them to believe that they were trading and doing investment. According to what was released in the Sunday Gleaner this past Sunday, grandma or granny, it grieves my heart. Trust me, I'm so upset right now. Granny was promised 33% ROI, return on her investment, of a criminal organized Ponzi scheme that the Prime Minister, along with Krosky, ran in Jamaica. And grandma was ripped off $60 million of her life savings. Promised a 33% increase on her investment of $60 million. And it never happened because they were never trading stocks. And then on top of that, and who knows how many other investor came in after they were placed on the stock market, because they use those lies to deceive potential investors. And so in 2021, based upon the IC report, the criminal prime minister had another payout from SSL of $143,000 US. This Ponzi scheme ripped off the greatest heist in the history of Jamaica. The mother of all scandal, SSL Ponzi scheme, ripped off $31 million US. And in addition to NHT taxpayers' funds, no wonder why people can't get a house from NHT, because they don't have the money to give them a house. He come with this new housing development criminal Ponzi scheme to say you have to have a land to get a house, knowing that he took the NHT money that people paid into to get a house when they were ready. And so, knowing all along that he had defrauded people, he implemented this Ponzi scheme, new housing development program in 2018. So he had a payout of $143,000. This is the third payout we know he received. Now, when we get our hands on the Kroll report, we will be able to see how many other payout this criminal prime minister has. But I just want to say to the prime minister that you should resign immediately. If you were in a first world country, you would have been indicted and you would have been prosecuted for fraudulent behaviors as a leader of a country. Pay back grandma or $60 million. Even if both not get back in money, pay back grandma. Grandma almost had a nervous breakdown. Read her report that she said when she found out. She went to SSL building on Hope Road 5 different occasions to see if she can get back her money or any type of payout. And not to this day, she has not gotten back a single dime. The prime minister should be ashamed of himself. He's a criminal. He's the most dishonorable prime minister in the history of Jamaica. And on top of that, when the Kroll report, the FSC has the Kroll report, the DPP has the Kroll report. The DPP is between a rock and a hard place because she cannot prosecute Jeannette Calder alone based upon what we know. She's going to have to prosecute all the players. We know she's political aligned and she's corrupt. She's the epitome of corruption, that she is the guardrail against prosecution for criminals in the government, her friends, and in the Jamaica Labour Party. We are watching you where you're the most scrutinized person in Jamaica right now, along with the criminal prime minister from international. You know, we're watching you and we have people watching you. you have to prosecute all of the players that the Kroll report recommended that you should prosecute. You cannot prosecute Jeannette Panton alone. Jeannette Panton, in her statement, written statement of confession, stated that she was only responsible for taking 20% of 4.1 million US dollars. So if you think you can prosecute Jeannette Panton alone and throw the case, you're going to go to prison, Miss Madam DPP, because this case is bigger than Jamaica. It's bigger than you. And when the United States government get involved, they're going to realize everything Kroll already investigated, which I know they already have the Kroll report, because what you don't know, after 9/11, the United States implemented or Congress passed the Patriot Act. And the Patriot Act allowed the United States government to collaborate with other foreign intelligence agencies all over the world. So I am pretty sure, 100% sure, that the feds already have the Kroll report. So if you think you can prosecute Jeannette Panton alone and let you Croskery and the criminal prime minister and all the other rest of player Nigel Clark off the hook, you are going to go to prison when your term ends in September this year. Over to you, Sir Byron.
You're muted, Sir Byron.
Yeah, I want to say, Pastor Ricky, that everything that you delivered a while ago, right, you're on point, right? And, you know, you have over 1,000 people tuning in. And I'm telling you that the information that, you know, Pastor Ricky just gave, right, it is so true as it relates to the conundrum that the DPP is in, the Prime Minister is in, and other persons, right? The Kroll report. I know from, you know, from the existence of this case, and, you know, Mystic Sensation been carrying this case, another platform as well, right, carrying this case, Partner Draw TV, Lonesome, Ratigan, and all persons, right, Manasa Belrose, Bowler, the old persons who are beginning up pulling this case. As critical thinkers, we know very well that, you know, this is the situation that is going to bring down the Jamaica Labour Party government, right? Because I look at it in terms of how the government is moving, right? Even go as far as want to deal with the Constitution, right? Change things in the Constitution in order to make them get away of this case. This is the case. The FSL is extremely serious for the Jamaica Labour Party. Extremely serious for the Jamaica Labour Party. No two-way about that. Now, let us get into the letter. I'm not going to break down the letter tonight, right? To show you the level of wickedness, cruelty. And as often as I can, I see Andrew Holness as 100% pure, natural evil. And that's the truth about the matter. Andrew Holness administration, gone rogue, is a kleptocracy we are dealing with. No two-way about that. And let me say this. Any person who hearing the evidence or the evidence decided that they're still looking left, then I have to say to he, she, or the old lady that you are simply a criminal. Hearing the evidence, seeing how it is played out, right? You can't be on the side that want to suppress the Kroll report. If the Jamaica Labour Party did not have anything to hide, why Why not show the Kroll report? It's the same thing that they had done with the FinSac report. Because they didn't want people to understand that Edward Siaga, Dan Crawford, Paul Chen-Young and Associates, and the same mastermind you cross-carry.
Yep.
Aligned with the Jamaica Labour Party. Aligned with the Jamaica Labour Party. Because the 1990s financial meltdown. And imagine the Jamaica Labour Party again. Bringing back the financial meltdown as it relates to SSL. Camouflage Paul Chen-Young and Associates as SSL. Where Pastor Ricky spoke earlier, the extension of the viciousness, the extension of the corruption, the extension of the collaboration in committing the offense by the JFE, Jamaica Stock Exchange, the FSC, working collusion to put SSL and the Jamaica Stock Exchange to trick the people. And we are going to learn more as we enter the lady's letter. I want to say a mother, to a grandmother, to a great-grand, the pain that she's feeling. And I asking myself the question, right? Jamaica asked it. When the Prime Minister goes to his bed, if this old lady letter that we are going to feature, if this person ever run across the Prime Minister mind, to say no, this level of wickedness. We understand that Bolt, as an icon, loses money, but Bolt carries something what we call stability to bounce back.
He's young.
He's young, vibrant.
Yeah.
And has the stability to bounce back.
Payback grandma.
Asking Andrew Holness. I am asking you, Krusty. I am asking Paul Alowele.
Payback grandma.
If this old lady has the stability to bounce back. But again, I don't expect anything better because we have seen in the 1980s, the Jamaica Labour Party sent over 150 elderly persons to their fiery grave.
My God.
So then,
imagine.
It would not be a surprise. These persons have no conscience. They are reptile, cold-blooded animals. They are not mammals. They are not mammals. They are reptiles. Now let us play the lady's letter. Without any delay, lift it up on it. SSL fraud, ruin me. Can you imagine that the Prime Minister is a part of something like this? Can you imagine? Now here it is. SSL fraud, ruin me. Elderly woman speaks out about 60 million loss after investment in 2019. Trust me, my Jamaican people, this is, oh my God, this is the height of wickedness.
Yeah.
A 78-year-old woman from St. Andrew.
Uncaring Prime Minister.
Huh?
He's an uncaring Prime Minister to rob an old lady.
That's why I played the Michael Manley clip to warn him what good governance is. A 78-year-old woman from St. Andrew who invested 60 million in the fraud investment firm Stocks and Security Limited. In 2019, a sum which she said investigators later told her was never actually invested. says she has been left financially ruined. The elderly woman who asked the Sunday Gleaner not to identify her said the multi-million-dollar fraud that came to public attention in January 2023 caused her to seek medical attention, including sedation on several occasions. Oh my God. The scandal-scarred investment firm had been recommended to the woman by quite a few friends. I would like to know those friends. She told the Sunday Gleaner during an interview last Thursday, she was told SSL paid good interest, just like what All Int promised. Good interest, just like what Cash Plus promised. Second field great Usain Bolt's name was also used as a pull factor. Hey, no people. No. And here it is that Zachary Harding. Let me go to Zachary Harding. Let me take on Mr. Zachary Harding. Here. Let me read it over. Track and field great Usain Bolt's name was also used as a pull factor, she said, along with all kinds of other big names. Let me get deep into this lady's mind. Because if anyone tells this lady about Usain Bolt being a part of this, would have internal knowledge, would have intricate details, right, about this. So people need to identify this. Any person, the person or persons who told this lady that track and field, right, great Usain Bolt name was also used as a pull factor, right, would have known intricate details, right, of the investors' money. My God. And Zachary Harding said publicly that he didn't even know that Bolt, right, was invested in SSL. These persons, and you question, acted like he didn't know that Bolt money was invested in SSL. These persons. There is no definition, there's no adjective in this dictionary, or any dictionary can describe the level of wickedness as it relates to Andrew Wallace and his friends, partners in crime. So when a Market Street property in Montego Bay, built to her and 3 other siblings by her father, was sold and she collected her proceeds, a check of $60 million. It was easy to turn it at 33.5% OPRO. SSL no abandoned St. Andrew head office while on her way home. Oh my God. She admitted, however, that she had done no research on the company that was fraught with irregularities that the state regulator. Because you know what, lady? If you had done it, lady, if you had done your research, what you would have seen, the Andrew Wallace administration would tell you otherwise. Because the Andrew Wallace administration knew very well that the People's National Party had stopped SSL. But whosoever align themselves with SSL, whosoever have an account, so-called account in SSL, because we don't see no money leaving from any of the 28 accounts going into SSL, but we see money coming out of SSL, reaching a people's hand, people buy land, and people being out of SSL. Can't stay aligned and cannot dispute this fact. We have seen land being purchased out of SSL. We have seen house being built out of SSL. Am I lying? You have the evidence. Now, the culture of non-compliance and mismanagement of clients' funds and safe and unsound practices 8 years earlier in 2009 forced the FSC to disrupt the repurchases agreement, right, business of the firm in 2010 after it noted 1.3 billion deficit between client liabilities and other similar arrangement and SSL matching assets. Look at that. SSL offer financial planning, private wealth management, and brokerage services, falling under the purview of the FSC, whose role it is to supervise. The word supervise is great here in our people. And regulate the securities, insurance, and private pension industries. Now let us go back to the word supervise. FSC. Under the Andrew Holness administration, I'm talking about FSC under the Andrew Holness administration, because the FSC under the People's National Party administration, the People's National Party had done an excellent job. But the FSC under the Jamaica Labour Party administration, with the coercion in criminality, they knew that SSL had problems, unsafe and unsound practices. They knew all of that. Contract non-compliance and mismanagement of client funds. They knew all of that. 2017, Andrew Holness step out. Because you, Andrew Holness, you were thinking about SSL from 2009. You were planning premeditatedly, calculatedly to execute. Signs and the evidence is here. That is the reason why you don't sign the code of conduct. And you tell them not to do it. Huh? When you went in, you have seen that you were well prepared in terms of muzzling the Integrity Commission with Section 53, subsection 3. Because you know what you have done. And you spread propaganda on the Integrity Commission. Because you know that the Integrity Commission was going to dig all of this. So you make sure that you muzzle the Integrity Commission with Section 53, subsection 3. So to show you how premeditated your plan was. Well calculated. SSL offer financial planning, private wealth management, and brokerage services, falling under the purview of the FSC, whose role it is to supervise and regulate the securities, insurance, and private pension industries. The woman recalled delivering the check in September 2019, a moment she had come to regret. She repeatedly cheered. They were very excited. Yes. Because they're getting all the money to rob. They were very happy. They told me not to worry because I wanted to go to BNS, Bank of Nova Scotia, or JMMB. Miss, stay far from JMMB. Jamaica Money Market Brokers. The guy said to me, if SSL goes under, your money is in Cayman. I tell you, say, hey, trust me, the further I go with the thing, and the chest just a pumping, man. I never forgot that those were his words. She said of her first encounter with SSL. Let me tell you something, people. Anybody, any person who know that information and vote for GLP, trust me. You and Andrew Holness and anybody who support GLP, all of you are reptile, cold-blooded animals. She was asked the amount of interest she was expecting, but noted that he stressed instead the preservation of her capital, which she did not want to dwindle away. Her intent, she said, was to keep the money with the firm until she identified a suitable property for purchase. Oh my God. January 3, 2020 proposal from SSL to the woman, which was seen by the Sunday Gleaner, outlined how the firm had intended to invest $58.6 million from the funds she handed over. The below proposal was created on a conservative basis to increase the current income derived while keeping to an acceptable risk-adjusted level given your risk appetite. No, you all them talk like they are investing, like they were investing. You see that they are professional criminal. Here, the conversation as if SSL was invested. My God, the document signed by then portfolio manager Shannon Harris and SSL founder and director Hugh Croskery. Hey, let me ask Father Llewellyn something. Let me ask Father Llewellyn something. So Father Llewellyn, now that you know that Hugh Croskery signed off on the money here, you really make Hugh Croskery live up and left Jamaica. Hey, let me tell you something. They left now the kidney cell. Trust me. Now watch this then. See there now. See the evidence there. Unbelievable. Shannon Harris and SSL founder and director Hugh Croskery. It said the $58,697,150.56 would be spread across its group of companies. You know, listen to them group of companies here now. People might not stay away from them. Predominantly in US dollar income solutions and Jamaica dollar equities. Further, it stated that capital preservation, liquidity, and high income were the key income objective on a wicked and lie. 33.5%. Like you know a trade. Like you know a trade. When literally a thief. A total of 5 million would be invested in SSL Jamaica brokerage when you start broke up the woman money now. Broken down, 2 million would purchase stocks in the National Commercial Bank on the top one tell lie. I don't like this no go on. 2 million in Wisinko. Boy, I tell you, say, trust me, them, me say them figure a person. Them figure a person. And 1 million set aside for specific upcoming IPOs. When you say them a canatis, people when you say them a canatis, the remaining sum of 53,697,150, right, would be invested in SSL, private wealth management, and SSL asset management Cayman. So, we want to know if the investigation are going to lead to Cayman to, you know. Mocha. Yeah, you know something about Mocha. When I investigated a Cayman, a breakdown of how those funds would be managed. Said 100,000 US would be invested in Eden Garden private financing. So, all right, all of this information that's coming up here. Field responsibility and Mocha responsibility is to investigate all of these things. Because SSL wasn't investing. SSL wasn't doing any business. They were stealing money. They were in the business of stealing. Right? These solutions including 200,000 US in mortgage fund secured lending. 50,000 in SSL BTG contingent convertible at 8% Canadian dollars. Boy, you are a real criminal, man. You know, I have to take bad things and laugh. A real professional criminal, man. And just imagine the sign mix up in a design. And 40,000 US in a high heel liquid bond. Now, me here one of the Jagabite labor right. One of the Jagabite labor right that talk about Andrew Ownless invest. Lord Jesus, please. Right? Andrew Ownless invest. Tell me now. Say, Father God, nobody else but love Andrew Ownless. Father God love Andrew Ownless so much. Andrew Ownless, it's Father God bless the child that anything that Andrew Ownless put him on pan, he make money. So now Andrew Ownless who claims that he was a part of the 200 account, which not a line. Everybody else fear. Everybody else fear. And Andrew Ownless come out scotch free. Andrew Wallace came out with all the blessing that Father God given. Well, me have to ask Pastor Ricky tonight that when him go to church, ask Father God why him blessed Andrew Wallace so much and wicked to this whole man here. Me they go ask Pastor Ricky. We ask Father God why Father God blessed Andrew Wallace so much. But according to this 78-year-old woman here, I could have walked on that earth. I could have whistled this woman here coming. Eh? Now, may I tell you boy, these solutions including 200,000 mortgage fund secured lending, 50,000 in SSL BTJ contingent convertible at 8% Canadian dollars, and 40,000 IE liquid bond. When I went to the internet and looked, the money was there, what you mean, man? Tell us that. Yeah? Everything was there. Even long after everything happened, it was there. Yes. Boy, you can really feel it, you know. You feel it. Honestly, I don't know why I turned in there SSL. It was just the convenience of it. I just wanted to put it somewhere until I decided to buy an apartment with it and have a little left over to live off. Now, this is a part what hurt me now. And I want Jamaica to feel a part of it now. Hear what the lady said, people. Hear what the lady said, people. All of them, hey, all of them criminals that in the jail who they run up and talk up and blah, blah, blah. You know, listen to what the lady has said. Hear what the lady has said. I don't know what to shut up on them out. Hear what the lady has said. The lady has said, the old lady said, I just wanted to put it somewhere until I decided to buy an apartment with it. And have a little left over to live off, she said. Now, to turn the old lady, you understand that the old lady now becomes dependent now. And no. What involved in this? No have no art. Someone who have no big house with pool. Eh? Have no much woman them live lavish life on the back of this old lady. Right? She said when she learned of the 30 million US dollar or approximately 4.7 billion fraud at SSL, she called one of SSL directors who reportedly told her not to worry. You know, hear that lady, you need to call, I wish for the director call, lady. Why never call out the name, man? Because he's a big criminal, you know. Who you call that to know the thing going on? He's a big criminal, you know. Who reportedly told her not to worry and that her funds had not been touched and were safe. Hey, Lord, Jesus. Me to tell you more. More than 200 accounts were impacted by the fraud, including a holding company for a board that invested 6.2 million. But you see, I did not know that there was a red flag on SSL from 2015 or 2016. As a matter of fact, from 2009. And I wasn't business-minded like that way to research it properly. Then when you hear that they are listed on the Jamaica, Jesus, peace. When you see all the crime committed, man. That's why the FSC and the JSC work in tandem to put SSL on the Jamaica Stock Exchange to trick the people. See, China. Then when you hear that they are listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, it felt better. But when I went to get back my money, it was chaos. These are the crooks and the Matana people. Then when you hear that they are listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, come here. Come here, Andrew Wallace. Come here, Nigel. FSC and JSE. You work hard to put SSL on the Jamaica Stock Exchange as a reverse takeover, using C2W as a shell. Take it away. Let me talk to the people. Ratigan. A solid confirmation by this lady that when she heard that SSF was on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, it gave her a level of, comfort. So, Brother Ratigan, to know that FSC and the JSE work in tandem to put SSF on the Jamaica Stock Exchange through what you call a reverse takeover using C2W. Can I tell you what is a reverse takeover, Anrat? A reverse takeover is normally when, a public sector company, right, is taking over a limited company, right? But in this instance, right, the reverse takeover simply means a limited company is taking over a public company. Well, and the Jamaica Stock Exchange and the Financial Service Commission work in tandem, knowing that SSL has all those breaches and put SSL and the Jamaica Stock Exchange. What say you, Ratigan, on this matter? This is crazy.
Again, not much I can add because, you lay it out in plain and simple terms. Easy to follow steps. A baby could have sit down here and understand everything that you've said. The stock exchange appears to be complicit in all of this because you can't just let any and everybody come on your stock exchange. That's not how it works. There's a due diligence aspect to it. So the idea that the stock exchange would allow this to come on and FSC just sit down there and it's a regulatory body. So you have to ask yourself, okay, what's the extent of their regulation in terms of imposing consequences on recalcitrants, people who don't comply with the rules? What is the extent of their jurisdiction and their ability to impose penalty? And if they can't do it, why didn't they go to MOCA? Why didn't they go to the FID? Yeah, why didn't they go somewhere? This is crazy. But here's the thing. I don't want to forget something, and I see where we're kind of putting that upon the back burner. I don't want to ever forget, say, we have an illicit 6 or 8 or 9 or whatever out there. Nobody not talk about that. And I don't want to forget, say, we have a critical period coming up in the administration of the Integrity Commission. Justice Panton will not return. Kevin Stevenson, I don't think they're going to renew his contract. That's it. That's the director of investigations. The director of information and complaints, I think him gone too. Most of them gone. And look who them going to replace them with. Look, because it is my suspicion that, and the people I just mentioned, I think they'll all leave by May. And it is my great suspicion that once them leave, we can't forget about illicit 6 and come out. We can't just forget about that. So, like you said, Mystic, people have to start thinking about the election because nothing is going to change if we don't make the change. Nothing is going to change. And this idea with the SSL, it's something that we shouldn't let go. We need to just keep, and I know sometimes it might sound redundant because you're doing it tonight, and I'm sure you've done several programs on it. And if I do a program on Saturday, people might have the tendency to say, yeah, but we hear that already. Well, you need to hear it again.
Exactly.
Because far too often, it come in other years and it go to other years, then we forget about it and we move on to the next thing, or the story get overtaken by another story. And we can't afford that to happen. We have to change the mindset of Jamaica with this 8-day, 9-day wonder. So, like I said, kudos to you and your team, and your better half, I should say, for putting this thing together and basically walking us through the path, teaching us all of these things, because it is now clearer than ever before that this, and Pastor Ricky has been saying it for quite some time now, this is a Ponzi scheme at its core. It's a Ponzi scheme. It appears at this point that they were taking in new money to pay off the people and were putting in the old money. And you know Ponzi schemes work. At some point, they might go broke down because new money will stop coming in, and they might go pay off the people, and that's when the whole thing crumbled. And then we don't hear anything about this gentleman Cross Korea and his crew. In fact, I think they're traveling freely when they should be in a similar position like Miss Jean Pantan, because one person can't cause all of that damage there. She never have the authority to do all this for really bring the organization to its knees. But actually, it's more than its knees right now. So, we have one message, you know. One message. Icon, you need to call me. You need to call me. If you want back your money and you want some of them people to go to prison, you need to call me. We talked to some team members this morning, and the team firm, strong, ready to go. We just need to hear from you. And me I tell you, say we have some bloodhounds on the team, and them sniff out things, and them already sniff out things. Well, you need to call me for me tell you where them find out already about you and others. So and that's all I can say. Just call me if you want back your money and you want people to go to prison. If you don't want none of that, then fine. But by the way, we have 200 accounts, right? I don't know how many people want them 200 accounts there or more. When you can't call me to, you know. And not just the Icon alone, because when you lose money, like this lady here, she lose money. She lose actually her life savings, which was an inheritance. And now I think our children they might take care of her, she have work part-time. When she should have kick back on her rocking chair and just enjoy the rest of her days. Now she have to go look at job and have to depend on her children them to take care of her. And I'm sure that children them have children with them have to take care of things that we never plan to even do this, although you know you have to do this because you're old lady, but this wasn't in the plan. So Mom, give me a call. If the Icon want to call me, that's fine. You call me or you tell if you don't want to call me, tell somebody who lose money where you know to call me. We're ready to go.
All right. Pastor Ricky, let us start with you on this round.
My vex, because for the first time I feel disappointed in the country I was born and grew, and you know, I always I root for Jamaica and cheer for. We travel to Jamaica so often. Me send remittance like crazy. I top up phone when me down there. I pay bills to people. I do all kind of things to people. Me get out church, which we shouldn't even talk about money for them building fund. And you know, you want to see Jamaica rise above everything, a shining light, a beacon of hope, a ray of light, you know. But when you have a criminal government, the Jamaica Labour Party is a magnet for criminals. And when you have a government that steals from an old lady, a grandmother, everybody hashtag give back grandma her money, man. I mean, this is beyond the pale. And you know, when you think of it, this Ponzi scheme is not the first scheme ever happening. It's been going on for so long. And so you need a new government to put an end to this criminal behavior. You need a new government who's going to change banking laws. The FSC chairman or president at the time should be indicted. The Jamaica Stock Exchange chairperson or president should be indicted. May I tell you, you know, it's if I foreign them people are there, the one of them they are prison, no doubt about it. This could never happen in America. Never. This could never happen in Canada or England or any first world country. This would never happen without people getting prosecuted. Even if it happened, they would have gone straight to prison. And when you have a criminal prime minister who's walking around think he's above the law, knowing what he's been involved in from 2007 when he was in charge of the education ministry, nepotism and cronyism to Robert Gavin, giving contracts to his friends, passing through Robert Gavin, coming back to him so he can help build, you know, his fortune. I prisoned him with that a long time ago. The DCP, the Director of Corruption Prosecutor, dropped the ball. It's a web of them, you know, that collaborate in all these criminality. Because if she never dropped the ball upon him, and if she did ensure him get prosecuted, I mean, the DPP, I don't know how she's sleeping at nights. Maybe she's drinking to go to bed or something. But she's between a rock and a hard place right now. I would not let this go. Because you Krosky need to be indicted. And even though they are Canada and Jamaica does not have a extradition treaty with Canada, the United States does. And all of them who think them safe in Canada, the US can extradite them from Canada to the US and try them in a federal court and before a federal judge. Them run out to the microphones and them speak all kind of propaganda and misinformation, disinformation, which is an insult to the population in Jamaica, the people. Because them think the people are not educated and the people don't smart. And then him come out and use some words where him don't even know the meaning of. Him just want it to sound good to him. To deceive the people. But the time has come. Enough is enough. Everybody on to your game now. And you're going to go to prison. You're going to be the first prime minister in the history of Jamaica to go to prison. Enough is enough. You rob enough. You thief enough. And a time for you to be accountable. Prime Minister me's a Micah Manley Heights. I met Micah Manley at 9 years old. Shook his hand. I lived in his constituents. And walked with him from my city to the next city. And became a comrade since 9 years of age. And the clip he played with Prime Minister Michael Manley, he addressed 4 of the Nolan principles. He talks about accountability. He talks about honesty. He talks about humility. He talked about transparency. But the characteristics and the attributes of a true leader. This criminal that we have in Jamaica House is not a leader. He cannot even correct those in his party that behave unseemly and out of character. A true leader should be above reproach. Him name not supposed to call up in them criminality. And not just to them name a caller from 2007. Him name a call in a criminality. He should be above reproach. He's unfit to be prime minister. He should resign immediately with effect. He's a disgrace, and him have the nerves to go and carry come against decent world Caribbean leader. Gonna talk about busting organized crime. When he run transnational organized criminality and organized crime in Jamaica. Him corrupt the everything, everybody come around him corrupt. The new commissioner of police is corrupt. Them are run down youths in the streets and unalive them and say them a shootout. When you have criminals in the government leading by the prime minister who should be in prison, them priorities out of order. And I pray when the new sheriff, Comrade Leader Mark Golden, come to town, him say him going to have a commission to look into this SSL theft, the greatest heist in the history of Jamaica, the mother of all scandal, SSL in Jamaica. He's going to form a commission and he might get to the bottom of it. And I'm praying that he will ensure, if the U.S. not come for the one of them, that he will ensure to invite the FBI. Don't use Kroll again. Get the FBI into Jamaica. Because, Comrade Leader, may I tell you, once the FBI come in Jamaica, them will leave no stone untouched. Them are going to go out in St. Lucia. Them are going to dig up Admat. Most of the crime minister criminality is buried in Admat, where him liquidate in 2021. Admat is the genesis of his criminality. All them land and property went by to Admat, and that's the burial of his criminality, financial crimes there. Movex, because you're going to rob a grandmother. I mean, now the lady's in distress. Give back Granny or hashtag give back Granny her money. Everybody should go on the Prime Minister's social media site. Hashtag give back Grandma her money. You can't rap old people and think God pleased with you. Me hear Sir Byron say, if God favor the Prime Minister over old lady. No! Just like God bless us and give us gift, the devil also give people gift. The devil went to Jesus in the wilderness and took him up on a high pinnacle and said, all these things of this world I will give you if you just bow down and worship me. So when you live for the devil and you worship the devil, your blessings come from the devil. And at that, the Prime Minister have a pure devil worship blessings him have. Him not have no blessings from God. He's cursed. He's a disgrace, the worst Prime Minister in the history of Jamaica. I'm going to call upon the umbrella of church, because one last point, sir, but I'm vexed. I'm going to call upon the corrupt umbrella compromised church in Jamaica. It's an organized religion. God does not go with organized religion. God moved by his spirit. And if we not truly have the Holy Ghost in our, the Holy Spirit, we will distance ourselves from this criminal Prime Minister. And for everybody who hug up the Prime Minister up on stage, I'm going to tell you one thing about U.S. government and how election run in America. First world country that talk about. You say if a politician involved in a corruption, scandal, or criminality, nobody even want to take picture with that person. Allow me to tell Sir Rattigan, nobody now want to depend on stage with that person, because you know what? Their opponent is going to tie their criminality to them, to the other candidates, and taint them as the same. So based upon that philosophy in America, the whole of the Jamaica Labour Party, MP candidates, then 49 of them, they are the same because they're not speaking out. They're not distancing themselves from this criminal Prime Minister. And so because they're shielding him, they're aiding and abetting criminality, and they have become accomplices in criminality. Back over to you, Sir Byron.
No, you know, Byron, one quick thing.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Pastor Rick, you're right. Because I remember when I was the #2 guy in charge of the office, the FBI office in Mississippi, that in the city of Jackson, the mayor, I can't remember his name now, he was involved in he was being investigated by the FBI for some corruption thing. And I remember I went to several functions and seen, and it was like a pariah. When he walk in the room, people run as far as them could from him. I felt bad for him because I said, this is a guy who everybody used to crowd around and seeking him endorsement and him friendship. And the moment the people, the evidence the moment the investigation became public, that them start looking into him and that they were going to arrest him. I mean, everybody does. And he might have to show up, come on the mayor still. But him show up, and like Pastor Ricky said, nobody know that all the people who used to hug him and think, them bolt. Well, them run, because bolt call me. But them
All right. All right. Blessings for that, Brother Rattigan. And yes, Pastor Ricky, and I see your great passion there, right? Particularly where the elderly is concerned. And you wonder the level of wickedness, right? It's heart-rendering, right? To know what transpired with that old lady. Now, Jamaics, coming to the space.
Yeah, thank you ever so much. I want to say this to everybody out there who's listening and who is going to listen after this has done aired live. I ask that you continue to like and share information like this. Subscribe and tell somebody else about the movement of informing Jamaicans about their dignity, pride, and informing them what good governance is, what transparency looks like, what accountability looks like. And it is when you're informed, it's time to take action. And also want to say to the Jamaican people and the well-wishers of Jamaica, when good people sit aside and watch bad things happening to vulnerable people, reconsider your mindset. And when I say that, I said I will say to say, Mr. Rattigan, I watched the program that you had Saturday, and what you propose, it's amazing. And I believe that more Jamaicans need to understand the fact that we have to protest. It is 100%. I could understand that we couldn't protest then, but we must protest now. Why? Because we're informed. When you're informed, you're empowered to make changes. And yes, we can come and speak, but action must marry or speaking. And yes, we look at all the challenges, all the fear that comes with it. The Prime Minister runs a demagogue. And with fear, you get stronger, you get wiser. And the saying that says fear is false evidence appearing to be real. In 1838, emancipation didn't happen because the slaves sat down and folded their hands. They saw that something was wrong and they stood up. Let fear cause you to have courage to act decisively, critically, and strategically. My son always tells me, Daddy, strategy over strength. And he plays his game. And he said that he's not going to cheat like other people do, the cheat code. He's going to take his time. He's going to use strength. And I can tell you, going back to what the poll result is, I want to say Jamaicans are living the real poll. My gardener, I'm a person normally, share or pour from a empty cup. And I can tell you in my personal capacity that empty cup has now been broken because we have a broken system where we have blacklisting, we have corruption, we have inflation, we have hopelessness on the country. When my gardener said to me, and he was talking to me just since even, and I have my personal issues, and just listen to him speak, Mr. Rattigan, Pastor Ricky, Mystic Sensation, people in the comment section. I believe that my problems are not problems. I really felt like I wanted to cry just listening to the man's problem. And how Jamaica is hard, extremely hard. It's not just his story, many other people's story. So I say to the Jamaican people, the time has come where we have to stand and act in today's date, because God didn't promise tomorrow to you and I, or next week, or next month. The only time we have is now. Our ancestors are looking at us. They stood for something. Are we going to use today's date as just another day, the 9-day talk, and then that's it? Jamaica too addicted to breaking news. It's time for us to start breaking chains. As soon as a new news come up, we leave SSL, we leave the case that the Prime Minister, there's illicit enrichment, we leave the Prime Minister not sign the ethics code of conduct. So it's time for us to stop running down breaking news and for us to make a stand and break the chains of corruption. Mr. Rattigan, I fully endorse the idea of a protest. The Jamaican people must know that the diaspora has always been the backbone of the economy. It is the breath and the life of the Jamaican people. The diaspora is the wind in the lungs, the oxygen in the lungs. And with that being said, Jamaican people, you must respect who love you, must respect who cares for you, and also sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment, because a lot of Jamaican people think that they do know, but we don't know. And we need to listen. Sometimes they talk too much, and it's time for action. I greet everybody. I'm very tired. I had a long week last week, but I had to come and touch base with family members. And I say that Jamaica is changing right in front of our eyes. I put on my suit tonight, Mr. Rattigan. Mystic Sensation. Melting Pot and Pastor Ricky. I am ready for the job. Jamaica need a change now, not tomorrow. People are suffering here, and it is the truth. It's not a make-up thing. The Prime Minister is a liar, and we need to move away from that. Jamaica cannot progress with a corrupt leader and a corrupt government. Thank you, everybody, and I look forward to more conversation, but most of all, I look forward for the day that we stand together and create history, a change for our nation. So thank you.
I tell you, so strong as it relates to, we are going to close. And of course, we have none other than Melting Pot to close for us. But let me just take up something as it relates to how Jamaica ended. And let me quote Claude McKay. If we must die, let it not be like hogs hunted and penned in an inglorious pot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our cursed lot. If we must die, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Jamaica, we are fighting for our cause. We are fighting for our people. And with this, I give Melting Pot the window to close. Close this out, Melting Pot. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir, Byron and panelists. Boy, tonight, touching, tonight, moving. Tonight has so much substance within the presentation that my body just went into a frenzy of goosebumps. Just to learn of the atrocity that these men pursue and carried out with that 78-year-old senior citizen, mother, grandmother, probably even great-grandmom.
Yes.
It is disgusting, despicable, and has no place in a society that prides itself on Christianity. And Jamaica is one such society. But just let us just look at, all the variances as it relates to good governance. And as Pastor Ricky eloquently said, this could never happen in a first world. Because I want to use a particular example of why Pastor Ricky is 100% correct. Just look at Allen Stanford. He was an investor, banker. Invested $8 billion into 2020 cricket. But when he was found in breach, he was arrested. And we didn't have a long drawn-out process. But the fact that Allen Stanford physically invested the money into 2020 cricket is completely opposite to these people who weren't investing the investors' money. But yet still Allen Stanford is now in prison. So I'm asking the question, aren't we looking at the same complexity of criminality as it relates to SSL and what Allen Stanford did? It's the same. It's just the fact that it happened in a different jurisdiction. And the disparity between both jurisdictions is that the United States of America is transparent and Jamaican are criminals. The justice system affords these men the luxury of criminality activity ranging for over 30 years or more. Because this is coming all the way back from Paul Chen Young. Hugh Crosby was a part of that dynasty. And so we know the Jamaica Labour Party is always connected to these type of mechanism of criminality as it relates to finance in Jamaica. So we are asking for the outside world now to come and throw their weight behind this SSL saga. United States, Canada, UK, please, Jamaica need your assistance now more than ever. Because the pathway that Jamaica has pursued under this regime government is a pathway to destruction. A pathway that will destroy all Jamaicans' life. And it is doing it, as I'm speaking presently, as a result of misappropriation of a vast amount of Jamaica finance. And it's not done by the majority. It's a small minority, a group of culpable people that seek to enrich themselves through the hard-working Jamaican taxpayers' money and investment money. So we are looking at a situation now that should be, embraced by Jamaicans in the diaspora and back in Jamaica. Embrace this as a time in our history where we have to reckon to the fact that these people need to be held accountable for their action. And whoever is protecting these people must be put behind bars, because this is a travesty on Jamaicans' life. This is something that, it demoralizes all Jamaicans far and wide.
True.
We cannot allow a minority of people to enslave us, Jamaican, in 21st century. Because slavery was abolished long time ago. And slavery has changed in terms of consequential behavior practice. And there are laws that prevent any form of slavery in 21st century. So when you steal from people who invest with you, it's a law in itself that carry prison time. Andrew Wallace, the DPP, Hugh Croskery, Nigel Clark, and some other players, I don't want to call the name right now for reasons. But these people that form this criminal scheme organization in Jamaica must be held accountable and must be put in behind bars, because that's the only way that 78-year-old grandmother, great-grandmother, senior citizen mother will ever get closure in the way she feels about her investment. And I close in that word of thought.
All right, there you go. I want to say big thanks for all the people who passing through. I want to say big thanks to the panel once again to come out, right? And, performing, right, their actually moral duties, like their civic duty, right? Fighting for their country, wanting to see, good governance. And we are here, right, in this space, right? Brother Rattigan is here doing, right, his civic duty. Pastor Ricky doing his civic duty. Melting Pot, civic duty. Mystic Sensation. And of course, Lonesome in the Place on a day-to-day basis, burning the candle. So people continue to support us, right? And we are happy, right, to have your energy pushing us forward. We will never leave you in the dark. We will continue to fight with you until we see a way out as it relates to justice, good governance. We are saying, people, We are saying to all Jamaicans, without any doubt, ensure, put the X beside the L. We are talking about good leadership, good governance, nation building. Vote People's National Party. And I'm out. Panel.
One second. March 31st is the deadline to enumerate in Jamaica if you're going to vote in the upcoming general election.